This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSPORT Fan Network. TalkSPORT. Powered by fans.
Styles with a save. To the second here. A classic counter-attack, and Gibbs White puts Nottingham Forest 2 ahead. Here's Wood. 1-0 Forest. To the die. Has made an even bigger difference there. Nottingham Forest have snatched the lead at Anfield.
Hello, welcome back to Red Side of the Trent, here to discuss the 3-0 thumping of Tottenham Hotspurs as Forest end the week with 2 wins after that disappointing defeat away at the Hill Dickinson of Everton. Delighted to be joined by Reese Lane and Alex Oakes, who have been on their escapades this week. Reese, I'll start with yourself. How are you? How was the several games in a short amount of time for you?
A lack of quality at times, but no, it was a brilliant trip. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Good to do some things away from obviously the Forest game as well, and seeing Forest win for the first time in Europe was amazing. So yeah, it was a brilliant trip, mate, and I'm good. How about yourself?
Yeah, really good. I do apologise if anyone can hear a fish tank in the background here. I'm in my in-laws, and he's got a bleeding. My father-in-law's got an aquarium. It has to be said. So I do apologise. Alex, how are you as well? You got to witness history alongside Reese. First win away in Europe since 1995. I mean, you also got up to some absolute hilarity from our WhatsApp group as well. How was it?
Yeah, brilliant, mate. Yeah, I don't remember parts of it, but yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
Just talk about your thoughts for today, for the game, obviously, Alex, because I mean, 3-0 is a pretty good comeback from losing 3-0 last week at Everton. It's a good response from the team. It seems like that seems to have been a bit of a reoccurrence at the moment, which was similar to last season under Nuno, where if we had a bit of a blip, we'd come back with a bit of a bang, and that seems to have been the case today thoroughly.
Yeah, massively. I feel like after the last couple of weeks, I think we've in general been below par. The Everton game was sort of, I don't want to use the word disaster, but yeah, it wasn't good at all. I think Dyche knew that, players knew that. So was expecting sort of a bounce back on Thursday, but obviously with a heavily rotated side, you're not going to get that sort of bounce back away at a club that's, you know, the home fans are going to be extremely hostile towards you, being English and with it being in a European competition. But we got the job done there. Today, back at home, I think performance and result was exactly what the club and everyone associated with the club wanted and needed. That, and I always love beating Spurs.
Yeah, it is a good one, especially obviously what happened in the summer and everything else. I mean, Reese, just sum up your thoughts from the week as well. I know you was on the pod in the week, but you may as well sum it up back up and then obviously follow it out with today's result, because I mean, it'd be nice to win like 1-0 or whatever, but 3-0 like really kind of, I don't know, flattered Spurs even, I think. You're on mute, pal.
Yeah, just first of all, so pleasing to win midweek because Utrecht weren't a great side. I think we would have been disappointed had we drew with them, as we did, with Sturm Graz, where I think we was disappointed with that. So it was good to finally get that away win on the board in Europe against, like I say, a lesser side. And then obviously that concern of travelling midweek. I know it was only over to Holland, but us playing Thursday night. I think Tottenham played on a Tuesday night at home to Slavia Prague, who they beat convincingly. You kind of like, well, they've had a couple of days extra rest. There's always naturally, I feel, a drop off from the Thursday to Sunday games across every team, really. But actually didn't see any of that today from Forest. I thought we, from minute one, wanted it more than Tottenham. And we outworked Tottenham, and that's why we won the game, really. So, yeah, it was just a great week after that Everton game last weekend to go away in Europe and win. And then, 3-0 today and keep a clean sheet, 3 goals as well. Yeah, I think it's been a fabulous end to the week, really.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get some comments. So James says, evening, football pundit says 2 a.m. in Thailand now. I nuke my sleep every weekend for this club and I feel connected to back home. Thoughts like that make it worth it. I mean, fair play to your commitment there. I know Christian's trying to match that with coming up from Kent every week. I'm sure other people are coming from worse. I know there's a lad who comes from Scotland every week, which I find.
Yeah, Livingston, and I see that on Twitter.
Yeah. Premier League has noticed my new sticker. I mean, new mic, new sticker. It's all happening. And Owen, what a performance, lads. That's more like it. Reece, I'm going to stick with yourself. Let's get into the lineup because obviously the big missing person of our spine, as you would call it was Matt Sells today, and Big John has stepped in goal. And I know you've had your concerns, and you've always kind of thought, well, he's not really been tested. Today, you'd thought he'd have got tested today, and actually only had to probably make one. I think he only made one save today. So, but what was your thoughts about the starting lineup? Murillo come back in. Callum Hudson-Odoi got a start over Danendoy, and then everything else was pretty much the same, really.
Yeah, I mean, tad concerned about the goalkeeper. I'm not going to lie, I did expect more of Tottenham today. I didn't think the only chance they really had was the Archie Gray spin, wasn't it? Which he made the save. I don't think apart from that they really tested him at all. Even with like a press to put him under pressure with his distribution. Hence, his distribution was overall very good today. I mean, having Murillo back's massive, mate. He's the best. He's one of the best players, if not the best player at the club. And you just see that. And that's not a slight on Morata or Murillo's just that next level player. And so it's brilliant to see him back. Same with midweek as well in Utrecht. You just see that extra quality with him. I was like mulling whether we'd play Sangare or Dominguez today. Obviously, Dominguez must have had a knock, so he wasn't in the team at all. But that turned out to be the right decision anyway, because we've got to go to Sangare in a bit. Hudson-Odoi had to play over Ndoi because Ndoi has been massively struggling recently. I mean, Hudson-Odoi before today's probably not broke many pots this season, but he's ahead of Ndoi really because it's just not working out for him at the minute. So, yeah, I think when I saw the lineup, I was a tiny bit concerned with John in goal, but it gave him a chance to show us what he can really do on the big stage of the Premier League. And the rest of the team, I was pretty what I expected, to be honest.
Yeah, I did listen to Dyche's post-match just before we started this because I didn't get a chance to listen to it on the radio, but he said Dominguez's knee flared up a little bit and they just wanted to give him a bit of time to
he was holding it midweek.
I'm
not sure if you guys could probably see that on the telly, but he was holding it a couple of times, but he does like to try and run it off, doesn't he, bless him.
I just remember that time when he was like pulling up and holding his arm up to the bench against City, and then he ran and got a tackle, and he was miracle like healed up. Alex, let's talk about opening sort of chance of the game, which fell to Sangare, and there was a bit of a flurry of kind of why hadn't it gone in sort of thing. But I mean, just talk us through it because I thought it was excellent play from ourselves down that right hand side.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think all three of us are at the opposite end of the ground, so it was kind of difficult to gauge sort of what went on. Initially, I thought it looked like it had been cleared off the line, but then on the replay, it had been it cannoned back off the post. Yeah, I think that sort of set the intent. I mean, we were going to get big men in the box, getting heads on the end of crosses, and all 90 minutes, Romero and Van der Ven, they didn't want it. We'll get on to sort of Jesus later, but absolutely they were, like you say, bullied from minute one, and I think that was sort of a precursor of everything to come because obviously he's then gone on and done what he did in later on in the first half and in the second half, which again I'm sure we'll talk about. But yeah, it was a statement of intent to really start the game with, and I struggled to remember a Forest game sort of in recent memories, particularly when Dyche has come in, that we've really sort of started that well and that much on the front foot.
It was definitely chalk and cheese from last week at what I saw at Everton, where I just thought we got bullied by Dewsbury and James Garner, to be honest. And it was, I mean, getting Savona booked the first 90 seconds of that game really set the tone for Everton. And I think that's kind of the opposite of what happened today, where we got on that front foot, didn't we, Reece? Because then Archie Gray's lured into a false sense of security there with I don't know if it's a bad pass from Vicario or a bad touch from Archie Gray, but it's great anticipation from Sangare. I mean, I wrote in the chat that Dominguez would have had a tear to his eye with that sort of press, but I thought he'd almost messed it up, to be honest. I mean, what was your opinion of it all?
Yeah, well, because Vicario had the ball, I was just like quickly checking the score on my phone, and then next minute, obviously, you look up, you hear the cry, and you look up, and Sangare is bearing down and goal. So I've had to watch the highlights for it. I mean, from our end, I didn't even realise Sangare's header actually hit the post. I actually thought it had just been blocked because I was saying like to people around me that looked destined for the far corner, and I think it would have done, wouldn't it? But yeah, look, you can only comment from our point of view. It's brilliant from Sangare, just the awareness to press him into a mistake. And then, you know, he looks like he's overran it, doesn't he? And he actually could snatch at it there and try and just blast it. And he doesn't do that. He just gets that toe. You know, it leaves Hudson-Odoi tapping. And yeah, so that's brilliant from him. Thoroughly deserved an assist for that work. And Hudson-Odoi is in the right position. He won't have an easy goal all season, really.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, coming on to second half, Alex, I mean, we all said that if Forest are going to see this game out, they need another goal because you just never know, especially with quality. Tottenham do have quality. I mean, not today, but they do actually have it in some areas of their pitch. But Hudson-Odoi's caught Vicario out with a cross come shot. I don't know. Only he'll be able to tell you whether he's meant that one. But it's a nice gift, I guess.
Yeah, like you say, Vicario is very suspect from those sort of situations. Anyway, you know, he's sort of like Matt Sells. He's not particularly commanding of his area. And I mean, when a ball's put in like that, it's in that sort of corridor initially. It's like whether you come for it or whether you sort of leave it and tip it over the bar. And he looked sort of indecisive because he took 2 steps forward, realised it's probably going over his head, and then initially took a step back and tried to sort of reach out for it. But by the time he'd already done that, the ball was in the back of the net. I thought Callum was. He was in and out of the game a lot today. I don't think he was poor by any stretch, because I don't think any Forest player was poor. But whether that chance was an actual shot or a cross, only he knows. And I think he alluded to it on Radio Nottingham. He said it's a bit of both. So.
I mean, you don't mind it because it goes in. I mean, we had chances after that. Mario Hutchinson put one wide. Igor Jesus put one just wide. But then, I mean, moment of the game, Reece, and it couldn't have come for anyone better because I thought Ibrahim Sangar was absolutely sensational today. But what a perler, I have to say, for that. I mean, you and Alex must have had an absolute great view of that one as it cannons off the post. Chef's kiss type stuff.
Just before we touch on Sangar's goal as well, it was just really good from our perspective that we got that second goal at a good time within 5 minutes of coming out for the second half. We all said in this chat, didn't we, at half time, like we played really well first half. We're pleased with how we played. Now it's like, can we go and get that second goal to kind of, you know, not saying seal the win, but put us in a really good position? Because I did think if we did get that second goal, we'd win today. So it was just good that we come out second half and continued that performance from the first half. And then, yeah, as you say, Adam, a chef's kiss on the performance. Wanted, you know, it just cuts across the board, doesn't he? Sangare don't really break stride, you know, don't even take a touch, and he just cuts across the ball beautifully, and it's in off the post. It's a great strike, and thoroughly deserved for his performance. You know, 2 assists and obviously a goal. And you know, it's a shame really that we definitely are seeing his best spell in a Forest shirt in terms of his performance and the actual fact he's staying injury free and getting consistent game time. And now it's a real shame he's going off to AFCON with obviously the holders Ivory Coast. So you know, unfortunately, you'd expect them to go quite far. So we're probably going to lose him for, what would you say, a month or so. Which is a real shame because, like I said, he's showing us his best football since he's come to the club, and he's becoming a goal-scoring midfielder. Two goals and 2 assists, and yeah, and that's a credit, to Dyche as well and his coaching staff, because I think we've seen it under Nuno, we've seen it odd games under Cooper when he first come in. You know, and then, you know, like Danny mentioned in the chat here, there was that game against Crystal Palace where he was booed off, which was, you know, really poor from a section of our fans, but that's their opinion. And then he's kind of come back under Nuno when he's had another injury. And, you know, now he's it's like I say, a credit to Dykes that he's actually getting, this type of performance, and he's actually, with the goal contributions as well. So it's going to be a big miss, but Douglas Luiz is looking back fit, and we've also got Dominguez, with Yates out injured as well. So, them two, they can deputise for him, I'm sure, if they can keep themselves fit themselves.
Yeah, I mean, Sangare is like a man possessed, because we never really seen him press as much as he is doing now. But he must be a scary bloke to play against, because he's just like I say, just long, isn't he, Reece?
He's had some things thrown at him, and sometimes you can maybe say there's some fairness, but even the stuff like, he never smiles, and it's like he don't want to be here, and this, and this. And it was actually lovely to see how much he enjoyed that goal, and he was actually dancing with the Brian Clough Lower after that goal. So, he looks happy to be here, and with the investment we've made in him, that's what we want. And he's shown it in his performances. And apart from a blip against West Ham when he gave a silly penalty away, where the whole team was really poor that day, I actually think he's been pretty good this season. And I actually, would, if someone said pick your top 3 player of the season, actually probably for me, consistency wise, because even under Ange, when players had clearly given up, that Chelsea game when it was Ange's hurrah, he was still running and trying, you know what I mean? And when others had basically jacked it in by that time. So yeah, it's a shame we're losing him, but it's just one of them things, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. I will just do a few comments before we get into some slept on it thoughts and that. Mr. MJC says we need to get some blackmail material on Murillo so he never leave us. Nice. Danny Tring's dad, I don't actually know his name, He probably Danny's probably already told me, but I've just forgotten.
His name, Boz, his name is. I don't know what his actual name is. That's just all I know.
Sangare, man of the match, but 40 goal was outstanding. When Murillo plays, we look a different side. And Richie says, evening all Forest. We are going to get into some slept on it thoughts, but I will give a quick shout out to our sponsors first of all. We've got oh my god, I'm losing track. TrentsideThreads.co.uk. Use RSOP for 10% off. I would normally be wearing my Ola Einar Ibina shirt, but it's in the wash, to be honest. But definitely get your hands on some stuff for Christmas. Good gift for Christmas, I think, for your dad, your brother, your sister, your mum, your auntie, grandma, whoever. I think there's definitely something for everyone. And then Vesta Blinds, stylish, high quality, made to measure blinds and shutters at a great price. Give your home the perfect finishing touch with stunning, expertly fitted window coverings from Vesta Blinds. That's vestablinds.com. Do check them out. We're going to get into your, not so slept on it thoughts, but the gist.
Red side of the Trent. Slept on it thoughts.
First one coming from Binnett, and it's a favourite of Reese's because he's mentioned the story, obviously. Excellent team performance. We looked well balanced, well coached, and maintained a good shape. All players working hard. Sangare is just sublime. Going to miss him by the next few weeks. Great day topped off by roast lunch at Reese's favourite Italian restaurant. Mark, Tottenham will, with Ange's Forest in the worst teams I've seen this season, a fully deserved scoreline. We are so much better with Murillo in the back 4. Sangare is a big miss at AFCON. Jess Selby, to a man we were brilliant. Murillo makes the difference with him on the pitch. The whole squad looks so much more comfortable. Jesus is an absolute menace. Sangare, outstanding, will be a huge miss. Hutch is our next star. Plaudits to John, clean sheet and a great distribution. James Sangare, you lovely human. Cho, you're a beast. And that second goal brings back Colback memories. This match is how we should play every game, minus the keeper. As we know, Sells is number 1. But I have a question for you guys. Does Victor deserve more than just a Europa League start? Just quickly then, anyone you want to answer that, Reece?
Yeah, he keeps his shirt, mate. For me, he's kept a clean sheet today and he's played pretty well when he's called upon. So, yeah, why not?
Alex, any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I said in the chat earlier, the only real chances that Tottenham had were that one from Archie Gray, which he dealt with, and there were a couple of dangerous set pieces into the box, but never really felt uncomfortable with him sort of either moving players out of the way because of his size and just leathering it away, or there was that one where he sort of double-fisted behind himself out for a corner. Keeps the shirt for Fulham for me.
Yeah, that'll be interesting against Fulham. Obviously, a very hit and miss side, but no, they can score goals on their day. So, yeah, will be interesting when we talk about that. Premier League, excellent. As I always say, all games are winnable. The Sangare song was a joy. Today's fact is during the 1914 Christmas truce, the Germans put up a sign saying, Gott mit uns, God is with us. The British responded by putting up a sign saying, we've got mittens too. I like that, Elliot. Very good. Mark Baker, possibly the worst refereeing performance I have ever seen, and that takes some doing. Only negative was the lack of substitutions, which was risking unnecessary injury. Sangare is going to be a big miss. Mark, we've won 3-0. The referee is irrelevant now. It was rubbish, but yeah, we won 3-0.
He was poor, though.
He was bad, Sam
The
Barrett.
one where he didn't give a corner when it literally their player cleared it out after Gibbs White's back heel was... Jesus.
Yeah, Sam Barrett's normally one of the better ones, I find, but yeah, today was a bit of abysmal. Anna missed this one after a 3-day pass to go to Utrecht, stayed home today and beginning to think they win more when I'm not there. What a performance, though. Sangare, best we have seen him play, and a different team with Murillo back looking up again now. Martin Fretwell played some super football today, really good team performance, but Sangare and Jesus were outstanding. Garibaldi Nerd went about our job well. Spurs would die. Lovely send-off. Thunderbolt from Sangare. Sammy, to a man incredible today. Some football on show. Sangare, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Jesus for man of the match for me. And this is more like it. From us, the Olays were chef's kiss onto Fulham. Danny Tring, to a man outstanding. Sangare performance. Anyone with a football brain knew he was capable of. Jesus unplayable. Callum Hudson-Odoi and Hutch doing what good wingers do. Murillo back, clean sheet and win. Pretends not to be shocked, and Arsot, the best Forest podcast with no agendas. Thank you. Thank you, Danny. And Ben, best team performance since, even better today than Brentford and City wins, in my opinion. Best game Sangare's had for us. Gutting he's got to go for a month. Callum Hudson-Odoi, man of the match, but it's a tough one. Jesus and Sangare not far off at all. Thank you very much for everyone that's got in their comments on there. If there's anyone else, we've got a Danish red. Nice to see Callum Hudson-Odoi finding his mojo, offered so much. More than Ndoye, he's added, and Mark Hill. The ref wasn't just bad, he was crap loads worse than last time. Fair enough. We're going to get into some player performances. Alex, I'm going to start with yourself, and I'm going to start with Igor Jesus, because we said that he might not get spoken about too much today, but we've got to wax lyrical about this man because he walks on the Trent, and I think he's amazing.
Yeah, today it was it was sort of one of the most complete striker performances you're likely to see without him scoring a goal. He rinsed Van de Ven and Romero for 90 minutes, just straight. Romero got to a point where he couldn't be asked pressing him anymore, and there were like 3 or 4 instances sort of in the last 10 minutes where the ball was put into Jesus, and his first touch was so clever, it took it away from 2 Spurs players, and sort of really showed a playmaker side to him, which we sort of knew what we were buying with him anyway. Yeah, like I say, I struggle to think of a Forest player that has been so technical as well as being so isolated, if that makes sense, because majority of the game he spends time on his own, just occupying 2 centre halves. But yeah, brilliant today. 10 out of 10 for me. Just needs to add more goals into his game, but I'm sure they'll come.
I think you just know what you're getting from him. Like, I love that he's got that technical ability to bring the ball down and then find a player. Like, his passing to wingers was really good. The one outside of the foot springs to mind where he's got away from a couple of challenges as well. I just think he's horrible. He does not care who he's playing against.
His work rate as well is absolutely relentless. He doesn't stop. But like you mentioned there, his ability to bring both Hudson-Odoi and Hutchinson into play with him and then move further up the pitch himself is just sort of second to none at the minute. It is brilliant, and I think he's flying under the radar quite a lot because he's not bagging he's not on 8, 9, 10 goals this season. He's just got the one. But like I say, keep doing what he's doing, and he's going to find himself in position to score goals more often than not.
Do you want to comment on that, Reece?
Yeah, he was unlucky as well with the cross he made for Gibbs White, which was brilliant first half. And to be fair, the shot what he had second half, went far away. So yeah, his all-round game is, you can't knock his all-round game. It's just, as a striker, there is, fans are always going to judge you on goals, isn't it? But as I've said on previous pods, I don't see him missing sitters. You know what I mean? It's not like we're giving him loads and loads of chances and he's not burying them. I think most chances he has, he actually, goes close with them. Like the one at Wolves, he's had a chance. And the other night, he had one chance the other night at Utrecht. And to be fair, that was an underrated finish. I'm not sure how he managed to kind of squeeze that in because, Utrecht could squeeze the angle down, hadn't it, really? The keeper at his near post. So, yeah, just getting him more chances, really. But his all-round game, you can't knock. He ran himself into the ground. Then I don't know whether it was because it was a kind of Argentinian Brazilian thing, because Argentinians are very passionate in that sense, that Romero just wanted to try and knock him about and didn't really enjoy the fact that Jesus was giving it him back, I thought.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, I think people have to remember that he's coming off playing pretty much a whole season, isn't he? Like played Club World Cup, was playing for Botafogo and Libertadores, so he's had no rest. And he's just like, I don't know, maybe he's got a bit of the Dominguez in him, like just runs and runs and runs, and it's great. Reece, I'm going to quickly pass the baton on back to you. I'm going to give you, I've got to give you Ibrahim Sangare, because I mean we've tried to push this boat for so long, and we just wasn't. And then I know it's kind of swayed back and forth where we wasn't sure whether he'd make the cut or not, but I think he's finally arrived this season, thankfully. I know we touched up on it earlier, but I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, I think something to note on him as well is that, I've always thought Sangare was a good player. I saw it, in the performances, even in the early days, that there was a player in there just, adapting really to English football. Steve Cooper didn't really play him in the right position, and then he had obviously caught malaria, and then he's had, injuries. So I was a bit worried that could he play in a 2 in the Premier League. And to be fair, he's done that with Anderson, and Anderson has been off the boil from his usual level last few games. But that does allow Anderson that freedom as well. But you can't say he's not improved greatly under Dyche, because, like I said earlier, he's getting involved now with the goal contributions. Is that last 3 home games? Why is it 2 goals, 2 assists? I think Leeds, obviously nothing against Brighton, but the Leeds game he got a goal. And he just looks like a bit more composed. There will be the odd moment when he can be a little bit, not, I guess, clumsy / not kind of aware. But he's like I say, he's come on under Dyche, and this is now 3 managers who played him as well. Dyche seems to like him. Nuno got him back in the team. Steve Cooper was trying to integrate him in a team. So, yeah, it's just a shame he's kind of going when it looks like he's hitting his best form for Forest, really. That is very typical Forest. But, hopefully he comes back. I mean, to be honest, with respect, I'm not fussed about Côte d'Ivoire. Go out in the group stage, they probably won't do, because of the teams that play. I think they will go far in that tournament because they are one of the stronger sides in Africa. But you'd want them to go out as soon as possible so he comes back to us, because end of the day, we're paying his wages, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a loss. But like I said earlier, we've got, if it's not a bad injury with Dominguez and Douglas Luiz as well, who's also a quality player. So at least we've got, players to fill in for him. But, he signs off today with, what a performance. 2 assists and a rocket.
I mean, what a way to to make people miss you. But I mean, hopefully Ivory Coast keep their manager this time, and then maybe they will go out.
Well, last time it worked for them, didn't it? They sacked the manager halfway through the tournament and they won it.
I don't think that would ever happen again in as long as we're alive, where a national team sacks the manager halfway through and they still go and win the tournament. I mean, that's as well with comedy errors. That is.
We all saw that PSV goal, didn't we? When Van Nistelrooy was PSV manager, and he sent that rocket in, whoever against whatever Dutch side it was, and we're like, oh, why can't he do that for Forest? Well, he's done that today, because he cut across the ball lovely, and it's always nice when it hits the woodwork, doesn't it, and goes in, gives you that bit more satisfaction.
It's like aesthetically pleasing, isn't it? And like for the audio as well, like that ping. So yeah, lovely. Alex, I'm going to give you Callum Hudson-Odoi, who I think he does blow hot and cold. His numbers aren't always amazing. and we expect more because he has got that quality, and thankfully he's got 2 goals and an assist today to bump up them numbers. But I think hopefully now with this challenge from Dan and Doy, but also like maybe the dip in form from Dan and Doy, it gives Callum that kick up the backside as well to really push on now.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan of Callum since he come in. I mean, you could see he was a sort of bright light at Chelsea, and then he got the move to Leverkusen it wasn't particularly fruitful for his development. And then obviously come to us, and for the most part, he's been brilliant for 99% of the time he's been here. I think sort of this season there's been his only real. At times this season, I'll add, it's been his only real sort of off period. But yeah, I stand by the fact that his best ability is retaining the ball and keeping the ball higher up the pitch, allowing the other players to join the attack. But again, we saw that today, time and time and time again. I praised Murillo's passing in the group chat earlier, and I'm intrigued to see how many times Murillo found Hudson-Odoi with a long ball. He took it 10 yards, 15 yards further up the pitch and was able to sort of bring Anderson with him, bring Nico with him on that side. And eventually we created chances from it. But yeah, brilliant today. His best game of the season. A tap in, a cracking goal, and an assist to add to the numbers as well. Yeah, he's hot and cold, but hopefully this is sort of a period of sustained success for him.
Yeah, definitely, especially with a lot of games to come. So hopefully he can get into some sort of stride. Reece, I'm going to give you, I think, probably someone that you wouldn't expect, and that's Omari Hutchinson. Because I thought today was actually, I thought you saw a level of maturity from him, because he helped Savona quite a lot down that right-hand side. And I thought he had a good game quietly. Probably deserved a goal, actually, for his endeavour. I just thought he's quietly getting used to playing every game now in the Premier League, especially after such a rocky start.
Yeah, because at the time when we signed him, it was a lot of money, and then when he got left out of the Europa League squad, I'm looking at that from a fan perspective and thinking that would knock his confidence personally, and I actually think he probably was pissed off by that, because I know I would be if I've signed for a record sign and then you turn around and say, oh, actually you left out the Europa League squad. And young lads, it can knock their confidence. And then he was, a lot of fans were saying, well, if you don't play in Europa League, it means he's going to play in the Premier League. And then there was a period where that wasn't happening. So he took his chance against Leeds, and I don't think he's ever looked back for this period of games what he's had. What I do like about Hutchinson is he's always looked to face up his man and try and attack him, try and beat him, try and do something in terms of trying to create an attacking output rather than just, I'll pass it back to my fullback. He always looks to face up, even if it was like Jed Spence today, who's a quick fullback, you know what I mean? I thought he played well again today, Hutchinson. So, yeah, it's good because, like I said, Ndoye's just gone completely off the boil at the minute. He was rightly taken out today. Obviously, we've got Baka coming back to fitness now. It gave Callum a chance today, who, for me, has not done enough this season, but played really well today. So that's great. And he's put some numbers on his stats in terms of 2 goals and an assist. So Hutchinson and Hudson-Odoi now got them shirts on the right and the left. And it's up to Backwell when he gets his chance, and Doy when he gets his chance to try and, take it off him, or at least push him. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, I don't think Hudson-Odoi before today's broken any pots this season, but he's still way ahead of Ndoye, because Ndoye's been just looks, I know he's been playing on the right as well, to be fair, but he just looks so shot at the minute. So I'm hoping he can kind of regain his confidence at some point. But yeah, Hutchinson was good again, mate. Yeah, he's an exciting footballer to watch, isn't he? And yeah, it was just a shame, like I say, he didn't get an assist or anything today, because he probably did deserve that with his performance. I thought he played really well.
Yeah, no, I'm excited because it's good competition. Like, we'll kind of see what metal Ndoye's got in terms of, is he going to roll his sleeves up and start fighting?
Well, that's what we need, don't we?
And Backwell's got to come back with a bang because he's been injured.
we've said this season as well that Sells hasn't really had any competition. John Vicks has got a chance today through circumstance because Sells is injured, and he looked composed and he's kept a clean sheet. So all of a sudden, you're thinking, well, Sells has got some competition now. So, Olaraina's back, obviously played with the academy overnight. So, yeah, it's looking a lot more prosperous into than it was, well, towards the end of the Ange reign. And you've got to give credit to Dyche again because, we've had a couple of performances what we've been really disappointed about. But I feel like when we've had a poor performance, we've always had a reaction. So we've had, we're really poor at Everton. Utrecht's a different competition with a rotated side, so you can kind of take that out of the equation, I guess. And your next Premier League game today is a side who are very hit and miss, there to be got at, and we've turned up today, outworked, wanted it loads more, and pretty much thrashed them, haven't we, to be honest. They never looked like scoring. I actually thought if we'd have probably gone through the gears towards the end, we could have probably scored more than 3, to be fair to us.
Yeah, I mean, beating Spurs today is no mean feat. They got the second best away record this season, so they're not bad on the road. They're bad.
We went to Everton and won 3-0, and we've just been beaten 3-0 there. So
yeah, I mean, Alex, was you? I don't know if you could be annoyed at Sean Dyche, but was you a little surprised that maybe Cali Mwendo or Backwood didn't get on, especially like maybe 15 minutes from the end? Cali Mwendo scored a midweek, which was a great finish to him, and to say that he had very, very little service, but it looked like Jesus was struggling for a period of time. Are you quite surprised that he didn't get the nod from the bench at all?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, if Jesus looks like he's struggling, why would you not sort of whip him off? With 10 minutes to go, the game's won. I mean, Lee has a phrase, doesn't he? The easy way, the hard way, the Forest way. And I mean, it would be very Forest to go on and draw that 3-3 with 10 minutes to go, but no, we never looked in danger. A little bit surprised that backward Callum Wendo didn't come on, especially with Louise coming back on to again build up a little bit more fitness. Who again, I thought he was brilliant when he came on. I don't think he lost a duel. He was brilliant. But yeah, I think especially with Jesus at the minute, I think Callum Wendo is going to have to be seriously patient. Same as backward, it's like Hutchinson's come in the team, like you two have just alluded to. He's come in the team. Had that one performance against Leeds, and he's not lost his shirt, and sort of all power to him because he's quickly becoming sort of one of the best players at the club at the minute. When he was driving, I think it was first 5-10 minutes, he was driving at the Spurs fullback, and it's sort of you physically heard like the noise go up. There's a buzz when he gets on the ball because he's so direct. And I don't think that's going to be easily replaceable with Backward as he's come back. But yeah, I mean, I genuinely, I don't know what Dyche thinks of Callum Wendo. It's impossible to think because I mean, he's not a Jesus player, is he? He'll run off the back of defenders, and whether Van der Ven and Romero sort of would have eaten that up for the last 10 minutes and sort of just brushed him aside, who knows whether that's what Dyche has thought. But yeah, a little bit surprised not to see him come on and sort of give Jesus and Hutchinson their flowers.
I mean, I was just quite surprised because Tottenham were obviously trying to still push to get back in the game. I just thought with it being a bit stretched, that would have been quite a good opportunity for Callum Mwendo. He'd have got a lot of space in behind Spurs, and I just thought he deserved it through sheer endeavour in midweek, because I think as a striker, if you're not getting many touches of the ball in the first half, and then you need to kind of come deep and offer something a bit deeper just to get some touches on the ball, and you still score with like your 7th or 8th touch of the game away in Europe, and a good finish as well, because he's not got a lot to aim at there. I just think he deserved a little bit of something, maybe a little bit of like a nod from Dyche. But I mean, that's not... Dyche doesn't need to be friends with the players and do that either. So I can't really speak. I think go on.
Get his chance in Europe as he has done with Malmo and Utrecht, but just it's not Callum Wendo's fault, and I actually think he's a good player. You saw by his goal overnight the tenacity. He was one who was also wrote off far too early. He scored 17 goals, I think it was, in League last season. We've obviously brought him to the club because we need a different type of striker, because that's what we're all crying out for as fans. You know, we know what Chris Wood is. Igor Jesus gives us an all-round game, whereas Callum Owendo's, he's an in-behind, kind of down the channels man, but I just don't think he's probably Sean Dyche's type of striker, really. I just think Dyche would want someone up there who can probably hold it up, and that isn't Callum Owendo's game. So I would have given him 10. I would have probably rotated him, rest a few today and not risked any injuries. But I guess from Dyche's perspective, he's probably thinking, well, we don't want to let them get a goal out of nothing and then they're kind of back in at last 5. And also he's probably thinking, well, we've got 8 days rest now. So yeah, we'll have to see. I actually think he'll probably slip down the pecking order a bit if Wood and Taro come back anytime soon.
Well, Wood's injury
playing Europe.
Wood's injury sounds a bit precarious. It sounds like he's going to be kept out for a little while. And I think the one thing that puzzles me is because Dyche has always said, like, I've never had a set of players, I've never had the money spent. People think I'm this type of manager. Well, I feel like he's the type of striker that would actually prove that to be true for what Dyche is saying. I get what you're saying though. He's a great player, Jesus. He just bullies and he's horrible and he's going to run till he dies, basically.
I know what we're saying about Dyche, and I agree. Like, you know, this squad is the best probably squad he's had, but there is certain like things he'll just like as a manager. Just certain types of players. That's football. You get one manager who rates a player, another manager comes along and don't fancy him. That's football. We have that as fans, you know. Some people rate Ryan Yates, some people don't. Some people rate Sangare, some people don't. That's just football, unfortunately.
Yeah. The result sees Forest in 16th, 5 points above West Ham, who slipped into the bottom after their loss against Aston Villa. It's actually really, really tight in this middle of the table from like 10th to us in 16th. It's only 5 points. So I feel like we're a couple of results away and a couple of results going our way from being back where where we thought we might have been at the start of the season with combined in Europe, Alex. I mean, I think someone mentioned in our WhatsApp that if you give Sean Dyche the whole season so far and what his points per game on, we'd finish with 71 points. We'd have got Champions League football last season. So I think you can't say he's not doing a good job, really, is he? He's steadied the ship. We're doing well in Europe. We've got an opportunity to get in that top 8 still with 2 games against teams above us. So how would you rate Dyche coming into this Christmas period?
Well, you said you can't say he's not doing a good job. I'll be honest with you, he's doing a great job. What's that now? Is it 7 wins out of 12, is it? I mean,
something like that.
5 games without a win out of 12. For a manager that's supposedly, you know, the media dubbed him as coming in and being a firefight manager. I mean, we were guilty of it as well. He's picked up big results for the club in both Europa League and the league. I mean, today is just exemplary. And he's sort of beating away the stick that he's being hammered with, that he's sort of a Route 1 manager. Because, I mean, we absolutely played Tottenham off the park today. And it was very minimal long ball. You know, there were players keeping the ball on the ground, using their ability, using their feet. But yeah, I mean, you can't give him sort of any less than a 7.5 for a start. I mean, we are sort of where I think we're slightly below where I expected us to be. I sort of reckon we'd be around the sort of 12th, 13th, 14th mark. We're a little bit below that. I do apologise. I've just been added to a group chat for Braga away, and it's buzzing a lot.
Let the chaos commence.
Yeah, I wish I'd be left alone, and I wish my bank could be left alone at the minute. But yeah, you can't really beat him with anything. We've had a couple of poor results. One away at Everton, where the whole team was off it for pretty much 90 minutes. Whatever, you write it off. You go away to Utrecht. Difficult game, intimidating crowd, different country, big competition. You know, they're going to be right up for it, as any foreign club are playing any English Premier League side. Again, their crowd was there, and we've gone away and picked up a first away win in Europe since before I was born. So it's Yeah, I mean, anything less than a 7.5, I've really got a question to ask of any fan that would give him less than that. But yeah, I mean, hopefully form continues and we sort of pull away. Like Reece said, we're sort of 5 points away from the bottom now. I mean, that Brentford Leeds results, perfect. That's fine. Brentford are on 19 points. You know, we win next week and results go the same way sort of we want them to. We'll go. There's a chance to go above both them and Fulham into like 14th. It's fine at the minute. I think a lot of people lost their heads over that Everton result. That it. Let's be honest. It was crap. It was an awful day from start to finish. I understand the head loss, but sort of a little bit perspective on it. Crap day at the office. You know, we've returned this week with 2 wins in what 4 days. And yeah, every player that played on the pitch today must be absolutely brimming with confidence. So it's only a good thing.
Yeah, no Murillo, no party, I say, because I mean against Wolves it wasn't the most pretty, even though we were dominant in that game. But against Everton, no Murillo, and it was, yeah, you can tell. I don't know. I think it's just his ability to beat the press, and like you say, Alex, like his passing ability is just sensational. But we talk about him every week, so we have to give flowers to other players every now and then. And I think the fact, Reece, as well, that we Olayed and then Pedro Porro's head like rolled into the lower Bridgeford to where the Spurs fans were after he made that challenge, because that was some football, by the way. Like it wasn't just like Spurs weren't pressing, we were passing it around them like no tomorrow, and just we were taking the mick really, which I found fantastic. So hopefully that will carry on into this next run of games. I mean, what's your thoughts as well?
Well, I mean, I'm just looking at the form now. I'm not sure if this goes. I'm not sure how many games he's done now in the Premier League, Deitch. But you know, last 10 games were 12, and you know, we've all said Sunderland have been doing so well. Last 10 games, we took just 2 points less than them. Palace have had a good season. We took last 10 games just 1 point less than them. We took more points than Fulham. We took more points than Liverpool. More points than Tottenham. You know, more points than Bournemouth. You know, who everyone raves about. So I think what Alex said about maybe the comment we thought we were going to be a little bit higher, I guess we kind of didn't. I know they're still below us, but I don't think we kind of expected Leeds' last few games, didn't we? I think we all expected them to kind of be where Burnley are now, which is a bit adrift, really. And to be fair to Leeds, are making a fist of it, which they will do at Ellen Road, especially as well. I mean, I think Burnley and Wolves are definitely going down. And then you know, we've got this 5 point gap, and like I said in the chat earlier, the position of us don't really matter as long as we've got a big gap. You know what I mean? If we're sat 16th in 5 games time and we're 10 points clear at drop zone, we can think, wow, you know, we can, you know, put more as effort into Europe and having a real good run in that competition like we wanted at the start of the season. But you know, I'm just looking at the table now, a couple of wins and you could be nearly in the top half. You know, I know it's not been a happy hunting ground for us at all, Fulham. You know, we've lost all his 3 Premier League games there and never been really in any of them. But if we went there on Monday night and beat them, we'd actually go above them, for example. So, you know, it's still tight. It's really congested. You know, a few wins in a row and you can shoot up probably half a dozen places. So, you know, it's just nice to see, looking at the table now, that we've got that 5 point buffer on that bottom 3. You know, and it's going to take somebody a couple of wins now to get above us. So, yeah, you know, Deitch has come in and you can't knock the job what he's done with, you know, his coaching staff. You know, they've done they put a plaster over us, haven't we, really? Because we was like an open wound when they come in, and they've, you know, put a bit of a bandage round us, and, you know, they've got some results on the board, rescued his European campaign, which was a little bit worrying after that. I know it was early days, but after that Midtjylland defeat, you know, we got a big win against FC Porto. And then we've got some big results in the Premier League today: Leeds, Liverpool. You know,
Wolves away, which was a banana skin.
Away, you know, which, you know, fans complain about, but Villa, who are probably one of the form sides in the league at the minute, they only beaten 1-0. The side who are league leaders had, you know, only beaten by a goal last night. You know, with 2 own goals to win the game. So, you know, sometimes in this league, you can't be particularly high you win games. I think you have, whenever you win games in this league, you've got to think how important it is, because, as we've said before, as we saw in the Chelsea game, you have a 10-minute period where you're below par and it can just go through you and can score 3 goals and we lose a game. So, Dyche has come in and I think he's done a brilliant job overall. Yeah, we've had a couple of stinkers, but, with the season we've had in terms of the pre-season and the change and the influx of players and managers, I think at times you're going to get that, unfortunately. And as disappointing as it's going to be at the time, because we're football fans and we react emotionally, it is going to happen because of, how disappointing that pre-season was, really. But yeah, it's just nice to see us have that gap, and hopefully we can go to Fulham and, get a positive result. I mean, the 3 games before the new year, I think if we can get 4 points out of them 3, I'd be happy with that. And that actually takes us, to the halfway stage and actually puts us above. So say if we got 4 points, that'd put us on 22 points. And we always say that magic 40, don't we, to stay up. So we'd be ratio-wise past that. So, yeah, things are looking up again, which is good.
Yeah, definitely. I think you have to put into perspective as well. When Dyche come in, he's got no Olarina, no Chris Wood.
Louise injured.
Louise injured. Back was injured. I think Zinchenko got injured.
Yeah, he's out for a bit.
Yeah, and I just think he's had difficult circumstances to work with. A few new players, obviously, like Savona had to get chucked in immediately, and he's new to the Premier League. And honourable mention to him, I thought he did well after he got booked. I don't think he really got troubled by Kola Mawani, helped out by Hutchinson and Milenkovic and whoever was in midfield. So I think once he gets a full fit team back, especially with a full fit Olarina, who's one of the best fullbacks in this league, I'm not biased when I say that. I generally mean that. Then who knows? And maybe we'll make an addition in January. We don't know what's going to happen with that. But I think we're looking up rather than down. And I really truly believe that.
Well, it'd just be lovely to go back to what my pre-season expectation was, where we'd in the Premier League be competitive and we'd probably finish around the mid-table mark and just have a proper go for his first European campaign in 30 years, because Villa are the favourites because they're flying at the minute. They're going to be the favourites to win that competition. But there's, on a one-off game, we've proved that we can beat them in the past. There isn't anybody else in that competition who scares me at all, personally. And I look at some of the sides from, let's say, the bigger countries like, your Spain and your Italy's. Roma are a decent side, but Bologna are a decent side. But Forest are capable on the day of going far in that competition. So if we can get the Premier League sorted to a level where, we're in a good position and, in going into January and the new year, because I think we've definitely booked that playoff place now, haven't we? So we're probably guaranteed another trip, and hopefully we'll probably see where we are in that competition against Braga and Ferencváros, because they're top 8 sides at the minute, to be fair to them, as much as you look at probably Ferencváros more on paper and think, well, they're only champions of Hungary, but they've proved they're decent opposition in that tournament. So, things are looking up, mate, and that's all we wanted. And, like I say, credit to Dyche and his staff, because, they picked up a mess and they've steadied the ship, which is exactly what I expected them to do.
I can't wait to try and track down a Ferencváros fan to talk about Robbie Keane. I mean, that's like a bad joke. Alex, we're going to get on to, we'll just touch on Fulham a little bit because we play them next. They're going to lose quite a few players, especially in form. Calvin Bassey, Chukwueze and Alex Iwobi to AFCON. So that's quite a big boost for us and a bit of a shift for Fulham to make with 3 key players there. I know it's not been a happy hunting ground, but do you feel confident going into that one after this week?
It's hard because we haven't exactly got the greatest track record at Craven Cottage. But they've also been very hit and miss this season, sort of in the same way we have. They're not miles ahead of us or miles above us in the league table or how they're performing. Harry Wilson's hit form at a very good time for them when not many other players are in form. But yeah, losing, probably your best centre back and then also your sort of best left-sided player is going to hinder any team. Same as we're probably going to feel it with Sangare not being there. But hopefully, someone like Douglas Luiz is fit enough to play sort of 80 minutes, and then someone like Dominguez is able to come on. Obviously, with the absence of Ryan Yates, I saw Christian suggest earlier that we may possibly play Zinchenko in midfield if we need to. He's played there before. If push comes to shove, yeah, fine. I'm not confident, but I think I'll be honest. I think it's going to be a turgid game. But yeah, I go 2-1 Forest. Use what belief I've got left.
And what bank account money you've got left, I guess, in that sense. Is it still painful?
Horrendous.
Reese, thoughts for Fulham? Obviously, the last time we beat him, I think, was promotion seasons in Zinchenko with bundling it in over, I think, Marek Rodak in goal that day.
Yeah,
in the high vis,
yeah.
What great kit that no one ever actually would admit is actually a terrible kit, but it was a great kit in association.
It is a terrible kit, but obviously it become famous because of the wins we had in it. Something to note is Fulham play midweek. They've got Newcastle away in the Carabao Cup, which is quarterfinal stage. So that'll be a big game for them. They'll have to travel obviously up to the northeast, so they've not got a free week, whereas we have. So that's a positive for us. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because, like I said, his form at Craven Cottage in the Prem has been dreadful. I mean, the 3 games we've played there since we come up, 2-0 the first season, we were never, I think, really in the game. The 5-0 pasting, we all remember that, unfortunately. And then we only lost narrowly last year 2-1 because me and you went, didn't we, Adam? But we were really
awful.
Poor. We were really poor that day. So, no, it's not been a happy hunting ground for us. I mean, Fulham, they're always a side of, something Danny Tring mentioned. You never think they're in real danger, but they're just very inconsistent, aren't they? They're very Jekyll and Hyde, Fulham. I don't think you kind of know what performance you're going to get at them, well, unless they play us, which most of the time they turn up, aside from, when we battered them at the City Ground that year when Gibbs White had the tifo and that. So, yeah, it'll be a tough game because, like I say, the record there, but I think I'm going to go for a draw for this one. I would like us to upset the apple cart and, win and maybe re-sign Lewis Graben to, like he got them 2 goals that year, didn't he? 2 peaches. But yeah, like I said, I think if we can take 4 points before the end of the year, which is probably winning at Fulham and drawing at Everton or vice versa, because Manchester City is going to be really tough, but we've played well against them at home, so you never know. All games are winnable, as Elliot says. So yeah, I'm going to go for a draw for Fulham, but it will be a tough game. I think they'll be favourites.
We're going to beat all of them. Come on, let's.
We're losing some players as well, aren't they? Like we mentioned, Bassi, Iwobi, is it Chukwueze going?
Yeah.
So they're 3 starters for him. So that's and
a game in midweek, as you mentioned, that I forgot about, to be honest. So I'm
written for a certain Nuno target to probably play and score.
Yeah, maybe. Adama Traore, God. I'm fairly confident. I think a point would be good at Craven Cottage, as we've all mentioned. Not a happy hunting ground, so I'll be happy with a point. But if there's no reason why we can't go there and beat them, to be honest. So I'm fairly confident in what we can do on the night. So I'm going to go with positive.
All games are winnable.
I think we might beat him 1-0. I'm going to sneak that in there. 1-0 Forest.
Zinchenko to score.
Igor Jesus to score. Yeah, Zinchenko to score.
What is it with the bloody Premier League making us play Fulham on the stupid times in midweek? It seems like it's every time. It's not even the Premier League.
Last season we played on a Saturday. It was a lovely day out.
Season was Saturday,
and then the football happened.
The 5 was midweek, wasn't it?
Last season was midweek, wasn't it?
No, last season was a Saturday.
What was it?
Because I seen you and you had your knee had been dislocated again, and I was like, good effort. And you were still in shorts, and it was freezing. You absolute lunatic.
Oh, it might have just been dark earlier. That's probably what I'm thinking.
I think was it around February time, maybe, I think.
Quite possibly. Yeah. But anyway, 247 people in here too. Oh, it's gone up. Oh, no, it went back down. Do give us a like and a subscribe. It means a lot. It's all free. But until next time, I mean, if anyone's got anything to finish, Alex, any stories from Amsterdam you want to share with the group? Shows your new tattoo?
Absolutely not.
Why? It's a lovely
Absolutely
little
not.
No. If anyone wants to see Alex's tattoo, just DM him. It's AO1865 on Twitter. So just peer pressure him. He'll cave in eventually.
Why would you help me out like that?
Well, you've got it on the screen anyway. But anyone who's listening, just you'll know who he is. He's a gobby man on Twitter as well. Like no hold him back. Peer pressure him to show his tattoo from his lovely trip.
A lot of pints. I didn't get in until
you converted an Indonesian man to a Forest fan.
Yeah. I was worse for wear, and I sat chatting to some Indonesian bloke that probably had no idea what I was saying for the best part of about 3 hours on Saturday morning. Went to bed at 7, back up at 9 for a flight. Yeah, messy.
Did you enjoy yourself?
Yeah, from what I can remember.
but in true opposite Neil Warnock's fashion, not disciplined, and I
was not disciplined. Yeah,
no, very good.
I was disciplined.
Yeah, you just went and enjoyed an Italian, and then watched other football.
Yeah, but you can do that here.
All lovely.
We're not. You can. I'm not going to say it live on air. You can do things in Amsterdam. You can do it here. It might not be legal here, but you can do it here if you want.
None of that took place, for the record. No, not having that.
I think
just a lot of drink was consumed.
This is a family show, guys. Let's keep it PG. Anyway, thank you very much for everyone that's joined us. We'll catch you in the week. We'll probably do some sort of like Fulham preview, or we'll have a look at them.
And we'll be running a competition as well.
Our annual Christmas comp where someone can win a voucher for the club shop or whatever. But until next time, do obviously look out for that on our Twitter or wherever we're going to run the competition.
I think we'll do Twitter and Facebook. So it'd be a £50 voucher. So fingers crossed, Boxing Day sales, the kits might go down to £50 or the shirt, should I say?
Yeah. All right, bro. Thank you very much for everyone that's tuned in. Until next time, I hope you have a lovely Sunday evening. Come on, you.